Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Valen Hark's ASMR, smooth jazz, pod stream, livecast, Japanese language learning adventure. I'm your host, Valen Hark, and I'm here to tell you that you're going to start this new year off right by continuing on, not giving up. With that said, let's jump right back in. So here's the dealio. Last time I showed you these two charts, and look at that, we've already got our notes from last time too. We got day 1 and day 2. And hopefully you have done day 1. If you have not, this is in video form, so go back and watch it again if you need to. Get that notebook of yours out. Remember what I said, we don't care about cleanliness in the notebook. Stop trying to make things harder than they need to be. Just keep writing and writing and writing. If you make a mistake, don't even cross it out, just keep writing. That is key. Very key. So, with that said, last time I showed you day 1 and day 2, a, iu, e, o, and ka, ki, ku, ke, ko. And I just want to do a little review here before we move forward. So last time we went over the fact that there are 5 vowels, a, iu, e, o, and that these 5 vowel sounds never change. It does not matter how a word is spelled in Japanese. If the letter A is present, that A will always be pronounced A. If the letter I is present, it will always be I. The U will always be U, the E will always be E, the O will always be O. A, I, U, E, O. And we learned that these vowels, in order to pronounce everything else in Japanese, all we do is attach them to consonants. We've got the K's, the S's, the T's, the N's, the H's, the M's, the Y's, the R's, and this weird leftover column. It's got W, O, and just the consonant N. Don't worry about it, all right? Just leave it alone for now. And we also learned that we have the 10-10 mark and the maru, which can modify the consonant on these specific columns, okay? So with that said, let's do a little review-eroni here. Chef Boyardee review-eroni. What we want to do, if this is really your day 2, maybe you just skipped right ahead from the first video. I mean, I can't control you, but if this is really your day 2, I want you to still go back in your notebook, take a look, do these characters again. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to try not looking at the charts. We are going to try to just write them straight out. Again, try to use your memory from yesterday, or whenever it was you last did this. So let's start with A. What's next? I. U. E. And O. If you could do it that smoothly, it's fine if you didn't do it that fast, but if you can remember all of these, you are set to move on to the next column, which is the ka, ki, ku, ke, ko, which we also did yesterday. So, if you could not, don't move on to ka, ki, ku, ke, ko. Go back and do this again. A, I, U, E, O. And maybe the second or third time, you're fine, you got it. Maybe it just took 1 or 2 more times to remember. Why am I so itchy? All right. So, once we've got that done, we're going to go to the next line in our notebook, or just continue on wherever you are, and we're going to keep going. A, I, U, E, O, ka, ki, ku, ke, ko. Like I said, if you could repeat all of these just like you did last time, then you are A-okay to move on to the next column. So what I want to do, I will timestamp these for YouTube. So if you want to skip this next part, if you already feel confident with those 2 columns, move on to the part that's going to talk about sa through su, because that's what we're going to do next. But for the rest of you, if we need to slow this down and do it again, I am going to show you again each one. All right? Okay, looks like this. 1, 2, 3. E. E. Right? U. U. E. E. O. O. All together, we have A, E, U, E, O. All right. Now, don't forget, you can pop open your web browser and check that stroke order if you don't trust me. I don't trust me sometimes with the strokes, so I wouldn't blame you. Just remember that that's there if you need it. Okay, and let's pop open that that other set. Ka. Ka. Ki. Remember what I told you, this is a handwriting style. You do not have to leave it open if you want to do it this way. Ki. They're both the same thing, just different handwriting styles, different fonts will look different. Ku. Ku. Ke. Ke. And Ko. Ko. All right. So if you need to repeat that a bunch of times, do it. Rewind that video, repeat it, look at it again, pause the video, do it yourself if you want to. I don't care how you do it, just get it done. And with that said, we are going to move on. Today, we are going to start with the next column. Hey, technically day 3, but who knows when you're doing it. We're going to start with sa. Let's take a look. Sa. Oh, hey, before we even start, we got a little hole there. Now, you probably already know what's going to happen, what I'm going to tell you, but first things first, let's write the character out. Sa. And yes, just like ki, if you want, you could do it just like that. It's just a different handwriting style. This is sa. Let's take a look at shi, another very easy one. It's just a little fishing hook. One stroke. Shi. Shi. And sometimes get the question, why isn't this si? Please hold your Spanish jokes. Very funny. I don't have a great answer to that. There might be a historical reason why they didn't say the word si instead of she. Because if we look here, if we're following these patterns here, you'll probably think, so okay, we have e, we have ki. Let's skip these 2 columns. We have ni, he, me, li. Why is this she and why is this chi? Couldn't tell you. That's just how the language evolved. So just know there is no C in Japanese. You can't say C in Japanese, basically, with Japanese phonetics. So that's why that is what it is. Let's move on. Su. Little squiggly mark there. Su. Su. Okay. And whoa, hey, hold on, Valen. You just taught us both she and su? Uh-oh, reverse the order, and what do we get? Sushi. Look at that. You can write sushi as a child would write it, because there is a kanji for it, but obviously you do not know that yet if you're just starting out. But this is it. All you need are these two characters in the day 3. Su and shi. Alright, so we did sa, shi, su. Let's move on to se. Alright, se. 1, 2, 3. Se. And let me make sure I am teaching you the correct thing here, because I have not actually checked this in ages. Oh, thank God. Your old buddy still got it. We did it in the correct order. 1, 2, 3. Eventually, the stroke order just kind of becomes something that naturally comes out of you when you're writing. So sometimes you might second guess yourself, but be surprised that you actually got it right. That's just because you're used to the order in which things get written in Japanese. Because most characters in most kanji follow a similar pattern in how they go from stroke to stroke. So that's why I was telling you that stroke order is very important. And so this was se. And it will never be pronounced anything other than se. It will never be se or si or se. It's se. All right. Last one in the column for day 3, we have so. And ooh boy, this is the first, air quotes, difficult hiragana. Everything up to now is a piece of cake. So look, take it slow. And so this is all one stroke, but in your mind, I want you to just think about writing Z, kind of like a stretched Z. And instead of lifting your pen or pencil up, give it a nice little tail. So, that's it. So. Valen, we got x equals 41 here, but clearly this the length here x equals 51.2. Relax. This is a font. This is my handwriting, and anyone can read it. Do not get caught up in that. So many people try so hard to be perfect, and it just doesn't matter. So that is so. So we've gone and done it, ladies and gentlemen. Sa, shi, su, se, so. And remember, down here we have 10-10. So what happens if we add 10-10 to this? Hey, what's that? That's not so. This is not so. This is zo. That's simple. Any of the characters you add 10-10 to in this column, as it shows you here, would be za, ji, zu, ze, zo, as we went over last time. All right. Let's clear that off. Let's go ahead and move on to the next column. What do we got? Technically day 4, if you're doing columns by days, which depends on your habits. Some people will learn better if they do not try to rush through this. If you're trying to do day 1, 2, 3, and 4, or I should say column 1, 2, 3, and 4 all in one day, you probably will have, if you're following the correct method, written a, I, U, E, O like 100 times, and you probably remember these, but you're probably going to start getting fried by the time you try to remember sashi, suse, so, tachi, tsute, to. Don't overload yourself. I know you want to just start speaking and I'm cool. I speak Japanese. I speak Japanese immediately, but that's just not how it works. All right? Relax. Trust the method. Trust the plan. Stick to the plan. Follow it the way I'm telling you to do it, and you will learn it. Okay? At max, I would do 2 columns a day. I would not try to do more than that if this is you just starting out. Okay? So, speaking of which, and actually before we move on, let's do a little review-a-roni there. So, if we have day 1, 2, and 3, our notebook is going to start looking like this. A, I, U, E, O, Ka, Ki, Ku, Ke, Ko. And then what do? We went on to Sa. Sa. Right here. So, if this was today, what you would have done is gotten to Sa. This was your new character, and everything else was old. So, review. Right? So that's how this is structured. Don't forget that. So what we would do when we move on from Sa, I just introduced you to all of them in a row, but when you're studying, remember the method is you do not move on directly to Shi. If you're really trying to slam all this home in your old noggin there, you want to go back and do this all again. A, I, U, and so on until you get back to Sa. And then once you do get back to Sa, so it would look like this. You got back to Sa. Then Sa was considered old. It's part of the old set. That's when you move on to Shi. New. Okay, and then again, I, U, E. This is gonna start. The faster I write, the crappier it's gonna look. O, Ka, Ki, Ku, Ke, Ko. And then what do? Sa, Shi. This is all old. Su. New, right? Because remember on the chart, Sa, Shi, Su. All right? I hope you understand that by now. I know that this is a kind of a weird method, but I don't think it's too hard to understand. So just keep doing that the way we talked about last time before you move on to the next column. I am going to show you the next column now, but this is how you get up to that point. Wyvertick, hi, I hope you're staying hydrated. If not, here's a friendly reminder to drink some water. You're just a sweetheart. I'll have you know that your old friend Valen Hark, he's drinking some of that soda, though. He's drinking some of that soda pop. If you're down south in the U.S., I guess you would call it Coke, maybe? I don't know. I don't know what you call it. Look. Anyway, we're gonna move on here. Thank you for that sweet reminder. You sweet Wyvertick. Let's get rid of all of this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And now, get rid of that. We are going to move on to the technical day 4. Ta, chi, tsu, te, to. All right, so first one. Ta. Let's take a look. Boom, there it is. So, ta. 1, 2, 3. Look at this. It's like a mini version of coal. Remember we did coal like this? Yeah. Now you're just giving it an extra part there. Don't do it out of order like I just did there. What did I tell you about that stroke order? If you gotta go back, hey, where's it at? This chart freaks me out because it's backwards. There it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's simple, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Ta. Did you just call me a sweetheart? I could always erase that before I put it on YouTube. Nobody will ever know, but yes, I did. Chi. Next one on the column there, we just did ta. We're moving on to chi. 1, 2. Hey, easy, simple, nice, the way we like it. Like I said before, why is this not, like, C? I don't even know how you pronounce it. It just is what it is. So just accept that this is chi and not C, all right? That's a follow for you. Thank you, Wyvertick. Please do. Ooh, there it is. Thank you, Wyvertick, for following. Enjoy the stream. So, another note here, guys. Hey, let's take a look here. Look at this chi. And look at sa. Can we just take a moment to look at the two different characters here? Chi and sa, right? Sa, if you remember from before, looks like this. What's going on here? We got some mirror action. This confuses beginners all the time. When they see these hiragana out in the wild in an actual sentence, and they're just starting out in Japanese, they find it very hard to remember which is which. This is something you just get used to. If you have a hard time knowing which is which, if you just look at it while you're first starting out, don't worry about it. Hey, it's part of the process. That's what we're here for. So just know, remember, this is sa and this is chi. Okay? Okay, undo. 1, 2, 3. Well, technically that was all one stroke. 1, 2, right? This is chi. All right. Boom. We're moving on. What do we got next? Hit that chart there. Tsu. Why is this not tu? Because up until this point we had a, I, U, E, O, and ka, ki, ku, ke, ko, and sa, shi, su, se, so. Why isn't this su? Or tu? It just is what it is. What do you want me to say? I don't know. This is not tu, it is tsu. Okay, try pronouncing that as you write it. And this one's really easy. I mean, hey, look, it's just a boom. Tsu. What do we got here? We got a 5.9er, and this is clearly... Forget about it. It doesn't matter. Stop. Relax. Everybody looks at the font and freaks out. Tsu. Alright, hey, this one's perfect. This one's okay. This one's a little worse. They all are legible. Don't worry about it. That is tsu. What do we got next? Te. Another easy one, guys. You can just slam these out. Look at this. All one stroke. Te. That's a te. Te. That easy. And this will never be read any other way. There is no other pronunciation for te. That's why Japanese pronunciation is easier than English. How many times I gotta say it? Next up, we got the final one in this column. To. To. Look, if this was a real Japanese class, I would have to bust out the old teacher's favorite here. Doesn't this look like a toe with the toenail bent up? Hey, how am I gonna remember toe? Because look, it looks like a toe with the toenail bent up. That's a thing that apparently people say. And now I'm saying it to you. That's what it is, to. And, hey, little reminder. Let's go back to the top where we had ta. Little reminder here. If you put tenten down here, check this out, those little quotation marks that are called tenten, if you put those on to here as a modifier, they will all say different things now. They will change the T into a D. Or in the case of this one, a J or a Z. It just gets complicated. Look, I'm going to show you right now. You don't have to do this right now. Remember I said you can do these last, but I just want to remind you that they're here, so you just start getting used to how they look. So this is ta, but if we add tenten, this is now da. All right, remember you do not have to do this right now, but just relax, take a look at it. That is the difference. It's tenten. Can we put maru here? No, that doesn't mean anything. Don't do that. Remember what I told you. Maru only exists for the H column. So don't let me catch you screwing around with that little circle anywhere else. All right. Boom. So just know that those are there. We will go over those all in completion much later on at the end of Hiragana, like I said we would, all right? If I remember, somebody rhyme me, please. So that was day 4. We did ta, chi, tsu, te, and to. All right? Remember, I do not want you to overload yourself. All right? If you're starting out right now, day one, and you just came here from the last video, the last stream, and you are trying to cram in all of this today, you're doing it wrong. Knock it off. I told you before, at most, the first 2 columns, okay? And you're gonna sit there and I got some look. I got troublemakers all the time. They'll sit down and they'll do the first column, the second column, and they'll say, "What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Valen? I can do 3 and I can do the 3rd and the 4th. I'm doing it right now. Look, it's easy." Tomorrow's gonna come along and you're not gonna remember half of these. I guarantee it. Just listen to me. I've been doing this for over 10 years now, all right? Relax and trust the system. Thank you. That was Ta Chi Tsu Te To. We will be continuing on later, but for the remainder of this stream, and it's going to be a shorter one than last time. Last time we did a big old explanation about all sorts of stuff. I want to give you... let me get out of this. Hold on. Let's turn that off. I want to give you baby's first kanji. This is kind of a freebie, guys, if you actually watched last stream. What is this? First of all, how do we pronounce it? Like I told you, kanji are logographic. Oh boy. That means they don't have pronunciations associated with them like phonetic characters like the alphabet or hiragana that we're covering just before. These are symbols that are associated with words themselves, and I really don't know how to explain that any other way. So it was kind of confusing last time. I got some questions. If that's the case, how do you know how to pronounce this? And if you just looked at it for the first time, how would you know? Like, because for hiragana and katakana, if we're looking at them for the first time, we have this chart that tells us this is a, this is e, right? This is ka, this is ki, this is ku. It tells us right here. You're not going to know what this is just by looking at it, and there is no chart. Well, somebody might have made a chart, but boy, that would be huge. That tells you what this is. Here's the thing. You have to learn them via vocabulary. And like I told you yesterday, let's go back here. Remember this? The vocabulary for the first chapter in that book I recommended, which, by the way, if you didn't see, was Minna no Nihongo. And this is the vocabulary for chapter 1. On this sheet, if you're actually looking at this, viewer at home, this will show you anywhere there's kanji. Can I zoom in on this? Thank you. So this is hiragana, right? You can go on to the hiragana chart and see that this says no, right? So this would be ano. But this is a kanji, albeit a very easy one. How would you know how to pronounce this? Oh, here's everything written out in hiragana. So when you're first learning kanji, you will almost definitely, if the material you're looking at is aimed at a beginner that's learning the kanji, it will always show you how to say it in hiragana. So this has a no hito. So we can deduce ano is right here. So what is this kanji? This is hito. Hito. Right? Person. And we're going to review that in a second. But I just want you to know that when you're learning kanji for the first time, nobody's expecting you to just like magically intuit the pronunciation of it. It's going to tell you with the phonetic characters. Anyway, you do not need to be knowing or memorizing what I'm showing here. I just want you to know that that's how it works. That's how we learn kanji. So, with that said, let's go back here. What is this? Well, if you were looking this kanji up, you could find out that it says in hiragana, wa, ta, shi. Let's go back here. Remember? Wa, ta, shi. And we actually know ta and shi up to this point. We haven't studied wa yet, but you can look at it right there on the chart and know that that's what it says. So, watashi, I, or me. Okay? So that is baby's first kanji. It's a good one to start out with. Why not? And so how would we go about writing this one here. Let me move this over, thank you. If you want some extra credit again, you can write in your notebook. So up until this point in your notebook, you had just a mess of the a, I, u, e, o, ka, blah, 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 all the way down to, where do we get to? To, right? Oh yeah, the to. So you had a mess all the way down to this point. So after to, can I get a regular brush, please? Thank you. After to, you could just, right now, if you wanted to, throw this one in and start memorizing it along with the hiragana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You did it. You actually wrote a kanji already. Watashi. So now, from now on, instead of having to write out these characters, instead of having to write out 3 individual hiragana, you could just write 1 kanji. Watashi. I or me. Okay? It is that simple. So, that was watashi. And let's pull up another little example here. Excuse me. Thank you. What is this? This isn't kanji. Oh, this is hiragana. So you should be able to take this and find it on the chart. Let's go to the chart. We have not studied these yet, but here they are. Ha, and the one right next to it, na. These are the 2 hiragana characters right here. Oh, right here. So we know that this says hana. So here is what I'm trying to show you here. I'm doing a little sneaky on you. I am going to show you why this is a problem to only use hiragana, because still some people don't understand why exactly we are condensing these hiragana characters down into kanji. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to show you right now, because if you just write hana, there are more kanji than this, but there are at least 2 common kanji that this hana could be trying to represent. Because this right here is hana, and this right here is also hana. What's the difference? This one means flower. This one means nose. Not exactly the same thing now, are they? So you can kind of see what I'm talking about now, how it makes it so much easier once you're used to using kanji and hiragana and katakana mixed together, that it's much easier to understand something at a glance. Because if there's a sentence with hana in it, and it's this one, I already know it's pronounced hana, and I already know it means flower and doesn't mean nose. Right? If I look at this one, exact thing in the opposite. This one would mean nose and not flower, and I would know it's pronounced hana. And looking at, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Looking at them, you're gonna, some people are just like, oh my god, look, this is like, what the, oh my god, there's so many things going on here. We got this and that, and then we got this and that. We're not studying how to write this one yet. I'm showing you why we use kanji. So don't worry about it. Albeit this one is much easier, right? And your buddy hopefully did the right stroke order there. You will get to the point where you can just write them out quickly just like that. It's all down to studying, right? So that was hana and watashi. We learned watashi. And if you want to try to... Let me get rid of this. Okay, that's enough of that. If you want to try to review again, how did we write watashi? Can you remember it from memory if you've been following along in your notebook? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Watashi. And by the way, when I start that character out, you'll notice I'm going this way and then this way. Stroke order, important. And here, let me just finish this. Boom, 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 boom. You might be thinking now, because if we go back to not that one. This one. This is just hiragana. Hey, where's kanji? It's not here. Over on the sidebar, you have some kanji that are just like for the JLPT, the Japanese Language Proficiency Test. So this is not all of them. These are like a very select few that you probably would get tested on. So that's why they have them here. This is not where you would go to look to find the stroke order of a kanji. And I'm going to show you another site. Jisho. Jisho.org. Oh, hey, what are you doing to me, Windows? All right, Jisho.org right here, okay? This is a good one. Do you know what Jisho means in Japanese? I'm going to tell you right now. Dictionary. So this is just dictionary.org in Japanese, Jisho.org. And you could type anything in here. We could type, we could type dictionary and hit enter, and boom, there you go. Oh, Jiten, Jisho, right? There's two different ways to say it. Let me get my head out of the way. So this works like a regular dictionary works. The thing is, it's got all sorts of functions here you can mess around with. And the one I want to show you is if you type, I believe it's # kanji, and then type a kanji. So let me first say, if you don't know how to type in Japanese, I'll tell you how to do that in a second, but you could just type it in Romaji, Roman characters, right? You could just type it with the alphabet, and it should pop up. And it does, right here. Click this. There's the stroke order. It's not animated and fancy like the old Yoshida Institute, but we can't all be the Yoshida Institute now, can we? Here you go, in order. You see how it starts here, though? This is the important thing I'm trying to show you here. Oop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just like we did it. And if you were to, so if you're doing this with a pen or a pencil, again, it's not gonna look too different in the end if you did it this way instead of this way. But actually, if I use pen pressure here, you can kind of see the difference there between the strokes. This, why am I going crazy here? Yeah, there we go. So if we start here and then push down, the stroke will get thicker here. If we start here and then push down, the stroke will get thicker there. So if you're using a brush or a pen, it does make a big difference in how that stroke looks. And when you're looking at Japanese, or Chinese for that matter, it's very iconic for example, oh wait, it is animated, hey. Just spreading lies there, Valen. It's pretty iconic for the way that the strokes get thicker and thinner. That's those famous like Japanese and Chinese brush strokes. That's why it looks the way it does, and that's why you could tell the difference between a native and a foreigner who's just beginning, like pretty easily, right? And you can even see here on this, see it's so much thicker at this point, and then it shrinks down to there. So that's what's going on, right? If you want to look like really like a calligraphy master, that's what it would look like. So this is a good site to have under your belt, in your arsenal. And oh, while we're on the subject, hey, you think you're a smarty pants over there using Google Translate? Guys, I don't know how many times I can tell you this, and nobody wants to listen. Every time I tell you. I tell people this, and they just nod along and go along and say, oh, okay, gotcha, Valen. Yeah, don't use Google Translate. And then they just, like, immediately whip out their phone and, I'm talking to my Japanese friend, Google Translate. You're gonna think that this is giving you good Japanese information, or you might even think that it's not giving you good Japanese information, but that it's legible. It's not. It's spewing garbage 24/7. This is the garbage channel, garbage.google.translate/garbage. Stop doing it, please, for the love of God. As a translator, I have to take people's Google translated trash day in and day out and try to make sense of it. And then they provide me with the original Japanese, and then, oh, this crazy English garbage that this spit out, now I understand what they were trying to say because I read the original Japanese and translated it into actual English. Google I will give them this. They have come a long ways since like 10 years ago when I started. But you cannot trust this to give you the correct translations. And the other thing is, this does not have like any clue behind nuance. So there are things you're going to say in English, and there are colloquial phrases that you're going to use that it's not going to put properly into Japanese, and vice versa. What if I wrote naive here? Yeah, this is a good example. The word naive is an insult in English, obviously, and it means you're kind of, oh, well, here's the definition right here. Showing a lack of experience, wisdom, or judgment. It's not a good thing to say. You don't want to be naive. This over here in Japanese, this just says naive. This is an example of one of those waseigo I was talking about yesterday. Waseigo is Japanese English, the borrowed loan words. This in Japanese does not mean naive. They're saying naive, but if you come over here and look at it, the Japanese, what's the word, synonyms for this word that they're showing you here, sweet, indulgent, for example, innocent, virginal. I don't know that it means that, but that's what it means in Japanese. A naive person, naive na hito. Naive person in Japanese is somebody who's just like sweet. Is a somewhat kind person. That's the nuance behind it. So you're going to end up insulting your friend when you meant to not insult. Like, it just doesn't work, guys. There's so much missing context behind all the words when they get automatically translated. Google has no idea what's going on. So anyway, oh my God, Valen, you just ranted on because I just keep seeing this. I just keep seeing you people use this, and I'm reading both languages at the same time, and just like my head explodes every time I see these trash translations come out of this. Stop doing it. Use Jisho. Learn the language like I'm showing you here, and use it. Construct your own sentences. Understand what you're saying. Never trust what the automatic translator is giving you. For the love of God, please don't automatically translate to somebody you're trying to be friends with in Japanese. That could end in disaster. You're going to end up calling their mother something dirty, and you don't want that. Okay, rant over. Gosh, let's calm it down. Calm it down, Valen. It's okay. That was, today we did, sa shi su se so ta chi tsu te to. And let's hit it up with that review to close out the stream here, ladies and gentlemen. Your notebook should start looking something like this. A, I, U, E, O, Ka, Ki, Ku, Ke, O, Sa, Shi, Su, Se. And remember that funky one. Take your time on this one. So. Right? Ta, chi, tsu, te, and to. And that'll do it. Look at you go. Take your time. Review them 2 or 3 more times like we did last time. And that's it. Then close out the day. Close it out. Stop frying your brain. Come back tomorrow. And before you move on with Nani Nune no, whatever the next video is, or if you want to do it by yourself, be my guest. Before you move on, see if you still remember these. Try to write them out. And hopefully, because look, by the time you got to ta, how many times did you write how many times did you write u, I, e, o? A lot. And you didn't realize it because you're doing that little brain trick there. You're thinking that you're only doing it a couple times, but you're actually writing them a lot. That's why this method works. So, hey, it's me. What's going on here? It's the snow. Don't worry about it. That's gonna wrap it up for today. Hey, I appreciate you stopping by. This was another Japanese ASMR livecast pod stream extravaganza brought to you by Valen Hark. I will see you next time. And until then, stay frosty. Enjoy this beautiful scene here from the post-apocalyptic wasteland of 2162 Japan. And I'll see you later. Take care.